Welcome to Sew and Tell, where sewists from fashion, theater, and indie sewing bring their different perspectives to the hottest topics in the sewing community. I'm Amanda Carestio.
I'm Kate Zaynard.
And I'm Meg Healy. Today on the podcast, we're jumping into the new year by discussing our own sewing resolutions and the challenges we want to conquer in 2020. We'll share each a little something in our SewJo segment, and then we'll ask you to share something too. But before we jump in, how are you guys doing? How was your holidays? If you can't notice, I'm just recovering from a cold, so please excuse my voice, everybody. I'm sorry. But,
please tell me that you feel better than you sound.
I feel a lot better than I sound. It's still a bit like sinus achy, but I'm a million times better than I was last week. It was
good to know.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Same here. I definitely caught a holiday cold. I guess it's just what happens. Maybe it just catches up with you when you're finally able to rest, and it just hits with a vengeance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I escaped
I think,
it, so I'm guessing karma's going to hit me hard in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, no.
Watch it. We're recording next week.
Yeah.
Just wait.
Yeah.
That's when it's going to hit me.
Yeah, it's too bad. Everyone seems to be sick. I was calling in to pay a bill, and even like I was so sick, but it was due that day, so I'm kind of like trying to shout it, and she's like, "Oh, don't worry, like I was sick like that too," and like even so, like the bill payer, like the company I was just a stranger talking to, we were talking about being sick. It's just well,
'tis the season.
At least
after the season,
'tis the season.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm doing good. I feel like I'm coming into the new year with some good energy, some good ideas for some changes I want to make, some resolutions. So I'm excited to talk about those today, and also officially start a new season of Sew and Tell.
Yeah, we don't usually talk about our seasons because it's very internal, but technically this is the first episode of season 4.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first episode of the new year. It's I don't know. We've kind of talked about our upcoming episodes and what we're going to talk through, and I'm really, really excited.
On that note, actually, thank you for giving me a really good segue there, Amanda.
Yeah, I was trying.
It was beautiful. We're planning to do an episode upcoming very soon, actually, that's a Q&A question, because we have had some questions from you, our listeners, and we would like to sort of address some of those and let you know some stuff about us personally and about our working relationship and really anything you want to know. So if you would like to ask us a question, check out Instagram, send it to us there. You can email us at sewandtellpod@goldenpeakmedia.com, or you can, of course, go to our show notes page. Any of our show notes pages, we should get some notifications, and just let us know what you want to know. That's
going to be a fun one.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting. All right, let's jump in. Of course, guys, it's the beginning of a new year. Here we are. We're going to talk about our sewing resolutions, of course. It's pretty much the same thing we talked about at this time last year, but of course, resolutions change.
Yes, they do.
We're going to talk a little bit about ours and also more about the whole concept of sewing resolutions. These are sewing resolutions. Let me remind you.
Right.
Regular resolutions are your own business, and sewing resolutions are much more fun. So that's what we're going to do. All right. So you guys, why do we love sewing resolutions?
Well, you guys know I am a planner, especially when it comes to sewing. I feel like the rest of my life could be in shambles. I mean, not really, but I will know what I'm going to sew that month.
Yes, you will.
So I think that that's part of me that resolutions really speak to. But I also, I don't know. I mean, I love kind of working on bettering myself, and I love when other people do that too. And I think it's an inspiring time, and seeing what other people are going to work on through the year. Of course, I'm always like, ooh, I need to add that one to my list. That's a good one. So, but I love the spirit of them, because it's about movement and kind of bettering yourself or your skills or things of that nature. So I love them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. How about you, Meg? What do you love about resolutions?
I mean, I the thing is I actually don't really love them. I don't know. It's just, I get kind of, being like a Virgo, I love to like plan and organize, but if it doesn't come through or I don't, or like extenuating circumstances, it doesn't, I beat myself up and it like really like negatively affect, and then I get a sewing rut. And so actually like, so I think I'm better with like a loose plans. So one of mine is just to kind of like more intuitively sew and not, because last year mine just kind of fell apart. There was, the outlet that I used to track I was going to make like the capsule collection. It kind of all fell apart and things were changing. And then it was, I don't know. I like went into it with like a solid plan and then I didn't do it and then I just felt really bad. And so I don't want to do that this year. So that's just my little,
oh yeah.
I don't know.
There's definitely a downside, I think.
Oh, for sure. And the funny thing is for me, regular resolutions feel like that to me, where it's like, oh, if I don't do this, I'm a failure. I've already, whatever. But for me, sewing resolutions are a little bit more like goals, know, and if they don't happen, they don't happen, and that's okay. But they kind of give me a place to start from and help me think about what I want to accomplish and what I want to do better or more of in the upcoming year. So I actually like sewing resolutions because the way I think about them, they don't really put a whole lot of pressure on me like regular resolutions do. And I basically have one resolution I make every year that is not a sewing resolution. It involves flossing. And that's it. That's my goal. And I do this because I have I don't like regular resolutions. They make me feel bad. So I don't do regular ones except for the flossing thing. But the sewing resolutions,
I'm adding that to my list.
Yeah, right?
Definitely. So am I. I'm like adding it right now. I have
write
like
it down.
in front of me, I have personal and sewing. I'm like, and flossing.
All right, everybody. Everybody write down flossing on your list.
Yeah.
But
I just want to clarify though, sorry. It's the dental one, not the dance move flossing, right?
There's a dance move that's flossing?
Oh, yeah, that's what I was
you
thinking.
need to Google it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's a good resolution too, right?
Okay.
Because it's
I don't know. I'm going to write down Google flossing on my notes here and see what happens.
We'll include that in the show notes.
Okay.
For anyone who needs it.
All right. Sounds fun. All right, so now that we know why we do and do not love them, which is totally legit, how do you choose your resolutions? If you do choose to do resolutions, and if you don't want to, Meg, that's absolutely totally cool.
I feel like, I don't know, I guess getting back to what we were talking about, I love the moment to take like a big picture look at your sewing, because I think that going from month to month, project to project, you can not lose your way, because I mean, it's all based on inspiration, and I think that's a good thing, but you can lose track of what you already have, what you actually need, those kinds of things that should probably be part of your decision-making process when it comes to projects too. So I love that part of it. I think for me, a lot of my sewing, maybe my plans, maybe my resolutions are based around my stash. Like I feel like I definitely have some healthy stash guilt at the moment, and sewing through that is always part of how I plan my monthly makes, and also how I'm thinking about my year, because I definitely want to start with my stash for most of my projects. So I think for me, it really starts with what I have and using that and creating project plans around that. But I occasionally will throw in a bigger project-based goal if I need it, and if I've found myself avoiding it for a while. I'll take a moment to ponder why I'm avoiding it and add it in there if it makes sense. But I think that's it for me. Probably stash and seeing what everybody else is doing. How about you guys?
So I'll jump in. Like what I wrote down is actually to just intuitively sew one garment a month based on fabric stash, what I have, like Amanda said, just kind of looking at what I have and maybe spending a little bit more time on what I actually like need in my wardrobe. And if I'm not feeling something or I'm not, feeling inspired that month, then I can skip it, but just kind of a loose plan of like once a month, why don't you just reflect on your stash and what you need? If there's an occasion, then you can sew something. And then if not, then that's okay. And then I also wrote for the year, I wanted to, in the challenge part, I wanted to challenge myself. And I wrote down, I want to sew more for the home instead of for myself. Because I do buy a lot. I was buying I bought like a throw the other day and I'm like, I could make one, right? And so I have a checklist throughout the entire year. I want to sew a couch cover because we have one now because the bunnies have been destructo on the couch and they've even chewed through the couch cover. So now I have a template. So I want to make one of those. I need to make new curtains. If you guys can see behind me, these are actually bed sheets and I actually want to sew proper curtains. And then I want to sew some new pillow covers. And then also I want to sew something decorative and do some textile art in some capacity. So that's kind of throughout the year. I can visit it when I'm feeling inspired. So I'm really excited about that because that's something new for me, doing some home sewing.
Yeah, I like that as a resolution because it's kind of nebulous. You can kind of do what you feel like you want to do when you want to do it, but it still kind of has a goal in mind at the end. I like that a lot.
Oh, thanks.
Me too. I definitely go to the store and look through the pillow section every time, and they're really expensive. Throw
they
pillows are really expensive, and I don't know why. I can't carve out the little bit of time it would take to make them. That's really inspiring.
For sure. And there are so many cute embroidery things that you can do with pillows, and it's really simple. But you can show off your designs. Mm-hmm. So for me, I usually start. Okay, so this is sort of funny. If you have the Sew News issue for December, January, we actually have a little thing in there about our resolutions. But if you have any idea how magazine publishing works, we were putting that together in August, maybe July. It was really early, and it was really hard actually because I was only halfway through the year and I was trying to figure out what my resolutions were going to be for this year. But the first thing I did was I looked back and I looked at how my resolutions for last year were going, and I think by the time I had gotten there, I had already given up on my pants sloper, and a couple of other things. I could see kind of the end of the year and how it was probably going to go, and so I was able to kind of take that and kind of build in the basics of my resolutions for this year around that. And then at this point, I'm kind of seeing what comes up in this conversation to see if I have to add any other things. Yes, I'm resolution shopping right now, y'all.
Resolution shopping.
Always.
Resolution shopping. So you all have mentioned a couple of your things. Do we want to go through and talk about what our actual resolutions are?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, I'm actually going to start. I managed to shop nothing. So what I want to do is finish that pants sloper, get it to work. That is going to be... I'm not looking forward to it, actually. I enjoyed starting the process last year. This year, but then I ran into the fitting issue, and it was just, oh God, it was so hard. So maybe what I actually need to do is plan my next try for when Meg's going to be in town, and then I can make her pin my muslin and see if that can help me get it sorted out right. Because every time I tried to do it myself, it was such a disaster. So that's just me rambling. Sorry, guys. My stash was a lot smaller when I wrote my resolutions in August, because of Colorado Fabric shutting down. My fabric stash has been bulked up a little bit. So I did say that I wanted to do a little bit of sewing out of my stash. I think I've said 1 to 2 things, and I think I've got to bump that to maybe up to 5, something like that. I've really got to get into that stash for sure. And wasn't there one more thing? Oh no, I can't remember what it is. Oh yes, I do remember. I want to challenge myself with something. This last year, we had a couple of really interesting conversations about a few of the more scary projects. What come to mind is swimsuits and jeans. And I'm not gonna put a specific label on it. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna sew jeans or I'm gonna sew swimsuit, but I'm gonna sew something that scares me this year.
Nice.
That's my big goal. Of course, this pant slipper also scare me, but they don't count. They're separate. Okay.
Okay. I like it.
Not as scary.
Well, I definitely have sewing from my stash on the list. And I'm starting the year, and I think I do this every year, with kind of a low-key fabric ban. Like, I definitely have enough to keep me busy for the next couple of months. So I'm really going to try to make it until I get to summer sewing to think about any more fabric purchases. And I've got a lot to do between now and then, and I'm pretty excited about what's in my stash at this point too. So I think that's going to be pretty reasonable. I probably make this resolution every year too, that I want to slow down a little bit. And I've seen some other people in my feed with the same idea, and I don't know what it is, but I like moving through projects. I like sewing through my stash, but I'm definitely to the point where there's not a lot of wardrobe basics that I need. So I think that slowing down, savoring the process a little bit, and perfecting some of those finishes and some of those things that before I might skip over. Nobody's going to see the interior, but really just spend some more quality time with my seam ripper. Maybe take some more involved projects on my list, and I have a few in mind. Just because, I have a lot of boxy blouses and t-shirts. So I think thinking about those more kind of impact pieces, and more involved pieces, so I can grow my skills a little bit. Also, just keep sewing. I feel like if it says define a goal as I need. I feel like sewing is such an important part of my life and my mental health, and I really every year just remind myself that I need to continue to make a space for it. So that's why it's on my list again this year. And I think that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah. Nice.
Cool.
Yes. Yeah. So I kind of, touched on this before, but mine just one garment a month if I feel like it, using what I have and seeing what I need. And also, I forgot to write this down, but I was thinking about it because I was doing, I had to catch up as I was sick last week, and I have lots of sewing to do. So it was tiling patterns and sewing, and just kind of taking care of my body more when I'm sewing, thinking about my sewing posture. Because I don't know about you, but if I'm sewing or even just cutting, or my back kills. Like, is there any tip? Is my table too low? Is it too high? Am I slouch? Should I stand on one of those anti-fatigue mats? I need what are your tips for not making your back just kill when you're sewing? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe is there like a brace I can wear? I don't know. Do y'all's back hurt when you sew a lot, or is that just me?
I don't usually get it when I'm actually doing the sewing, but cutting and tiling patterns always.
Really?
I think my sewing machine posture must be okay. Like, if I've done a really long project, I've been at it all day, then I'll start to feel it. But definitely, I'd like to hear some tips too, because bending over a cutting table and all of that stuff. Oh gosh, it can get so harsh.
Oh. Yeah, and it's like the middle of my top back. It's so painful, and it's even when I'm actually sewing too. I'm at the sewing machine. yeah, maybe I just see a chiropractor. That's another resolution. I should definitely need to take more visits to the chiropractor because I want to be sewing when I'm, really old too. I want this body to keep sewing forever. Yeah.
I definitely think about that with my hands. Like I feel like my hands get fatigued more now than they used to. And thinking about, I think that's a great idea. Taking care of your body so you can sew forever.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and just and taking breaks as I'm sewing I guess slow down. There's work to be done and there's things to be sewn, but if your back is like really good, like take a break and like maybe just do something else for a little bit and come back to it. It's always like rush. But it's just sewing. It doesn't have to get done. Yeah, so that's definitely part of my resolutions as well. And then all my wonderful home decor, and I do want to document it more too. I want to aim to do at least maybe one post a month, just kind of saying, did I do something or maybe I didn't? And I talk through why I didn't feel like do it. Just I like to be accountable to online an outlet, either if it's just on Instagram, kind of sharing processes more. But I do want to post at least once a month. I don't know where, but somewhere. I'll let you know.
That's a really good point too. Last year, I copied Amanda and I kind of made a hashtag for my all of my 2019 sewing, and I did not manage to take a picture and post a picture of everything that I sewed by any stretch of the imagination. I got, I think, through about February with everything recorded, and then after that it just fell off real fast. So I guess I'll keep working on that one.
Yeah. I mean, I think if I didn't do that, I would just have no idea what I had accomplished for the year, and I think it is really nice to look back. Sometimes I use it to help me get dressed in the morning. What did I make that's new?
No, you don't.
I do.
Oh, my gosh.
I do not have the best clothes organization system. So, man, I'll take all the help I can get.
I love
speaking
that.
of that, I wanted to talk a little bit about sewing challenges because I think that they can fit really nicely with sewing resolutions, sometimes not. But I think they're a really kind of amazing part of the online sewing community. They're a really great chance to meet new people, to get and share inspiration, and also, as you were saying, Meg, to kind of be held accountable. So I was wondering, there are a couple of different kinds of challenges. Some are kind of project-based or theme-based, and some are more photo-based. And I was wondering, have you guys done one before, and what were your thoughts?
I just picked up my phone while you were doing your intro there to remind myself exactly what it was. The hashtag BP Sewvember. I attempted that. I know you guys did it as well. I attempted that last year. It was probably a strange choice for me to make because when it started, I was in Austria and I was on vacation, so I kind of had time, but no access to anything at my house. Like the one about the sewing space, I was like, here's a sewing kit in the apartment in Austria, which I actually thought was pretty funny. But I think I got through 5 days, and then I missed the last 2 because I was extremely jet lagged and just couldn't bring myself to do it. So there you go, guys. I attempted a sewing challenge that was a week long and failed miserably. Yay, go me.
You've done Me Made May in the past, though.
I have.
That's a sewing challenge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't do
it's
it last
more
year,
of a photo challenge, but I think it's, similar. How about you, Meg?
Yeah, that was the only one that I can't remember if I maybe did a couple Me Made May, in days in Me Made May. Well, that is a tongue twister, man.
Yeah, it is.
That really fast. And then I did the BP Sewvember, but I do want to do more. I think they are great. So as earlier in the episode, Kate said she was shopping for resolutions. I'm kind of shopping for challenges. I probably know you, Amanda, know a lot more than I
have
about them than I do.
Some for you to consider.
Yay! Tell us more.
I will.
Amanda pushes patterns and challenges.
I will push a pattern for sure, but challenges, I kind of have a mixed relationship with them. I have done the BP Sewvember. I've done Sew Frosting. Me Made May. And I've also done the Make 9 challenge, not successfully, and also the 10 by 10 wardrobe challenge that I'll have to pull the exact hashtag for it. It's 10 by 10 capsule wardrobe challenge, I think, and it's done seasonally. Failed that one miserably too. But I do like the spirit of them. I just think personally my follow through is not the best. But there are so many. I feel like the challenges, maybe, I don't know, there's a lot in January and for the new year. Maybe too many, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's nice to be able to pick your favorite and stick to it and kind of develop a community around that. So, but if you wanted to do, and this is not an exhaustive list by any means, but there is the Make 9 2020 hashtag, which is picking 9 patterns that you want to make through the year. They can be patterns from your library. They can be things that you're planning to buy. And I think that this one's fun because it kind of crosses sewing into knitting and crochet as well. So, and there's also Use 9 2020, which is more about using 9 supplies from your stash. So whether that's yarn, whether that's fabric, really focused on stash busting. Similar to that, there's Make 3 in 3, which is I think some people get a little bit overwhelmed by kind of a year-long challenge. So it's more about in the next 3 months, you're going to make these 3 projects, which I think is really a nice. It's kind of in line with what you were saying, Meg. Yeah, and you can also you could plan the pieces to kind of work as a little mini capsule. They could be really seasonally based projects. So I really do like the pace of that one. There's Sew My Style 2020, which is a monthly challenge where a community of sewists, they have selected a pattern or 2 each month to sew, and they're kind of sewing it together, which I think is kind of cool. And you move through the year pattern by pattern. And again, I think it's that for that one in particular, it's all about the community that kind of builds around that and seeing everybody's version of everything. There's Sew Your Wardrobe Basics, which is pretty self-explanatory. You guys know I love that one. Obviously, Sew Frosting, Me Made May coming up in May, some of the other kind of month-long challenges we've discussed. In January alone, there are a bazillion challenges you can take part in.
Is that an accurate count?
It's accurate.
Okay.
The ones that have been coming up in my feed most often are Sew Fancy Pants 2020, which is all about jumping into pants. You can dance or you cannot dance in your pants when you create them in your fancy pants. And I think that fancy is really open to interpretation. It's really kind of wherever you're at, what fancy means to you. There's Sew Suit Up, which is a suit-focused challenge, which I think is really neat. There are some pretty clear parameters around what counts as a suit. And I think it's just a really nice way to jump into some more elevated techniques and finishes and really challenge yourself. That would be challenging for me for sure. There's Sew Twists and Ties, which focuses on patterns that have twists and ties as kind of main elements, which I love that as a design element. And it's a great way to find out about new to you patterns. And there's also Sew Your Books, which is, I think, just in January, but it's focused on using your sewing pattern books that you have. So breaking the pattern, anything else that's on your shelf, because I don't know about you guys, but I definitely get those books and they go on my shelf and I tend not to reach for them. So this is really focused on pulling those books off the shelf and using them. And I love that one. In particular, so many challenges. We'll see if, I wonder if February will be quite as hefty with the list, because I feel like they're a good bit of work for people to put on. So thank you to the people who do that, because I think they are a really nice community building venture. I think for me, I tend to already know what I'm going to make. So by the time challenges come around, unless it's something that I really, really kind of sparks my interests, if it happens to work with something I've already got planned, great. If not, I haven't really changed course too much to participate in one. How about you guys?
Well, I just wrote like 10 different hashtags down that you mentioned that are all so cool. I think
there's
so many.
If you were at a point where your inspiration was kind of at a low level, that these challenges could be a really great thing for you to kind of to jump in and, have that accountability and, be inspired in that way. So I think they are pretty amazing. I just don't tend to take part. I don't know why.
I'm intimidated by the challenges. They make me, they're the kind of thing where I'm like, I have a lot of really good plans at the beginning, and then they tend to fall off, and then I feel bad about myself. Me Made May I like, actually, because I can say, all right, my goal for Me Made May is going to be this very limited goal, and I can pull that off. I have never done it like with actual picture taking. I don't think I was even on Instagram last time we did a lot of picture taking for Me Made May. I think it went on the Sew News Instagram, maybe.
We did, yep.
So, I have to look for the things that are less intimidating to get me started off, like the BP Sewvember, which, as you can see, even being not intimidating was not a great success for me. But find something where I can kind of work with it without freaking myself out too much.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I really love the Sew Your Books. I'm just looking over at my million books, and I always look like it's, when I get them, I flip through them, and there's so many things that I want to make, and I just forget about them, because it's just I just print out another pattern. But
exactly.
I that's one I'm really going to focus on, especially for my home. I have so many home decor sewing books too. I think I have like a vintage Singer Sewing for Your Home book that my mom got me at a garage sale when I just started sewing. I love vintage sewing books too, so I'm definitely going to look into that one. For sure.
Yeah.
Love that.
I don't know if I'll officially do the challenge or anything, but definitely I'm thinking I should go flip through my books.
Yeah. I mean, even if you don't do it in the timeline, I think it's still, it's like one of those things that can go on your list for the year, that it can be a low key thing that you just want to make happen, but no high pressure. I'm anti-high pressure.
I like low pressure things.
Low pressure, yes. So we may have our resolutions and challenges planned, but how do we put them into action? How do we stick to them, record them, plan them, and track our progress? So where do you guys, even if you do you write them down? Where do you write them down? Do you have a special book? Do you do it digitally? Do you have an Excel spreadsheet? Like how do you write them down? Or if you did?
I don't usually, but the December-January issue of Sew News actually has them written down for me this year.
You're right.
That's where you can go to
in print.
Right.
Yes, they're in print.
We all publish ours, so that's how we
We write them down in August and hope they don't change too much.
Yeah. I actually need to go get that. Like, I have the issue behind me. After the episode, I'm going to go and remember what I said.
I know. I think I need to write them down. And I think I need to, not poster size, but pretty big, put them in my sewing room, because I think on the monthly basis, I'm pretty good about following through with my plans. But I think I do have a harder time with the longer term projects, because I tend to. I used to be really good about making a list every month of what I was going to sew. Now I've kind of gone to sketching, and I don't even do that every month. It's more like, here are the next 3 pieces I want to make, kind of a scenario. But one thing I was thinking about doing is I have a lot of Instagram contacts who are making vision boards for the new year. And I think that it's... I think those can be really healthy and helpful with life goals in general. But I feel like for sewing, that would be an awesome thing to do because it is so visual based. You could really, you could start with a big picture goal like I want to have a new coat in a neutral and pull a couple of images that kind of speak to that. And then figure out what the pattern's going to be later. But I don't know. I really like that idea. I might have to do it. I'll let you guys know how it goes.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
love that.
I don't want them hanging over my head. Like literally,
No?
I don't want them hanging over my head. I have mine are pretty easy to remember.
Yeah,
They're
that's
pretty
true.
simple, and I'd rather just kind of hold them in the back of my head and think about them sometimes rather than having them stare at me from a poster on the wall.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
I do like your vision
You mean
board
you don't have a
idea though for other planning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I love that. I was just gonna say, Kate, you mean you don't have a sticky note on your bathroom mirror being like, remember to floss?
I was thinking like I need to sew your. It's those moments of weakness, especially like the sew your sash thing. Like I should probably just block fabric store websites from my phone or something like that. It's
Oh my gosh.
because it's those moments of weakness for that one in particular.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Yeah, I've been. No, you go ahead.
I was just
You
going to
go ahead,
say,
Maida.
I think that this year I definitely want to, I like the visual approach. I'm definitely a list and a Post-it maker, but I do think that I could work on some accountability. So, whether it's like a monthly check-in I like your idea of doing it on Instagram because then it's kind of a public thing. And then I think it's also, in the spirit of sharing and other people could benefit from hearing the background on your project and your process. But I definitely think I could do more with that this year because I don't tend to circle back around. In fact, I have a hard time remembering what my resolutions are quite often.
Yeah, this year I bought a planner, and so I'm just really trying to stick to it. In the
Nice.
back, they have like a section, and I wrote down, I'll show you I'll take a picture too, and I just wrote them down and put check boxes next to it once I sew my couch cover. And so I just want to use a planner more. I love writing. I love stickers and organization, definitely the Virgo in me, but I find that would just, even one of my personal ones, it's just on weekdays, just getting up a little bit earlier. I always feel better when I wake up early. I know sometimes I can, since we're in different time zones too, it can be easy for me to get up later. So I'm on kind of your schedule, but I always function so much better when I do get up early and, I have a little time to myself, even just sew something before I kind of jump
a great
into
idea.
work mode. I'm just writing that down, it kind of makes it more real instead of just thinking, oh, maybe I should just get up early. It's no, I'm writing this down and
It's official.
and it's in my planner book that I'm going to look at every day. And so that's kind of what I'm doing this year. Because I think last year I just wrote them on a piece of paper and then I forgot where that even went,
Yeah.
So so that's what I'm doing this year. And I hope it goes good. I know.
I love that
I
idea.
love planners.
I love the idea of sewing in the morning because I feel it is such a drag to only sew at night, which is mostly what I do. Occasionally on the weekends I'll get some morning sewing in, and it always feels like a treat. But making that part of your week and your schedule. I feel like I would be such a peaceful person if I had like sewn something before I came to work.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wow.
Or maybe not. Maybe I'd be frustrated and
I think it depends on what step of the process it was.
Easy things for the morning.
Yeah.
Easy things. Maybe putting patterns together would be a good morning activity, you know?
Yeah, I was just thinking, like putting and then so when you get home, if you want to do it at night, it's like it's already put together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Cool. Oh, I love that. Oh,
shopping.
I'm already feeling better. Yep, shopping for ideas. Well, yeah, I think that's a pretty good kind of roundup of everything. I have a good sense of the year from all of us, and I'm feeling really good. How about you guys?
I love it.
Awesome. Well, let's take a quick break, and then since this one ran pretty long, we'll jump right into our SewJo when we get back.
That's right. Mm-hmm. All right, let's jump into SewJo. I feel like I have a lot of it this week. This is the point in the show when we talk about our sewing mojo or our sewing inspiration, whatever is inspiring us to get into the sewing room. So, Kate, why don't you go first?
All right. Well, as I'm sure listeners who have listened to the past few episodes might remember, Amanda and I have kind of been talking on and off about going to a shoemaking workshop, and my darling sweet husband listened to those episodes, and for Christmas he gave me a sneaker workshop. And so,
wow,
I know. So on Saturday, I am going to the Colorado Shoe School and with my sister-in-law, and we are making us some sneakers.
That is so cool.
I know. I'm so psyched.
Amazing.
Super
so
psyched.
Excited for you.
He did such a good job, you guys.
That's awesome.
So that is 100% where my SewJo is right now. I'm like, woo, shoemaking. There will be sewing. So,
Yay.
I love it.
I can't wait to hear about it. Oh my gosh.
I can't wait to tell you everything about it. And, do pictures of my shoes. On Instagram, even.
Yay. Ooh.
Lofty goals there.
Lofty goals. Put my shoes on Instagram. I hope they look good.
I'm sure they will.
All the ones in the galleries look pretty great. So I think the teachers are pretty good.
Awesome. How about you, Meg?
Mm-hmm. Well, my current SewJo is I'm working on filming samples. So that's just kind of what I can't really get inspired about anything else right now because until that's done, then. But I'm enjoying the process now because it's kind of more streamlined. I know what to expect. I've been filming this way for a while now, so it's easier for me to prepare. And so I'm just doing a lot of sewing. And for the end of January, I'm going to be, I guess, coming to fit Kate's pants sloper and then doing some filming.
Yeah, you are.
I
love that.
I'm excited. So
there will not be pictures of that, by the way.
Nice. It took me a long time to kind of commit to my January plans. I just feel like I have a lot of different things I want to sew, and kind of prioritizing those is always hard for me because I want them all right now, of course. But I did finally figure out 3 things that I want to make, and I started with the first one over the break, and I'm really loving how it's going. And part of that is using some of the swishier fabrics in my stash. And I think that we'll have a feature coming up in an upcoming issue of Sew News where we worked on shirt dresses. Mm-hmm. And for that project, I wouldn't consider mine a major success. It wasn't a major fail either, but I really had to work through kind of a crinkly rayon that I had picked online, got it in person. But really powered through and learned a lot, and I feel like that's kind of carrying over to my the shirt that I'm working on now, the blouse I'm working on, and I'm kind of loving that. So swishy fabrics. Nice. It's my SewJo.
I like it.
Yeah, I love that. Swishy fabrics.
Yep.
Nice. So let's now hop into our Sew and Tell segment. And so last episode, we asked you all, what was your greatest sewing accomplishment in 2019? And we got so many great answers that we have a double feature for you today. So we're each going to read, we're each going to read two comments that were left on our Instagram. So, yeah.
All right, I'm going to start us.
Want to kick us off, Kate?
Yeah. I'm going to start us off with a comment from LJ Makes, or possibly LEJ Makes. I'm not quite sure. But anyway, they say, this year I kickstarted again my love of sewing with a 100-day project. For the first time, I made trousers, undies, jumpsuits, and a winter coat. The best part of 2019, though, was discovering there's a local sewing scene and getting to know some fab ladies who sew.
That is awesome.
I
love all of those things.
Yeah.
Next, we heard from Radiant Home Studio. Hi, Sarah, who said, I created a ukulele bag for my kiddo for Christmas. He's been asking for a year, and I've had very little time and space to sew this year with a move and a temporary rental. Man, I hate when life things get in the way of sewing. But I love this idea, and actually... I love the project idea, and getting my daughter a ukulele has been on my mind for a long time. So I think I'm going to do a little research because I just love that instrument.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So main course said, sewing a Berta commercial sewing pattern for the first time. I was so afraid that the directions would be hard to understand. And so... yeah, I'm glad you conquered one. That's awesome. It just makes the next one even easier. So, welcome to the Berta world of sewing.
We also heard from Ricky Sews, who said, learning to use a serger was my biggest accomplishment in 2019. I sew with mostly knits, so it's been life-changing, LOL. Why did I wait so long? I don't know. It must have been It must have been life-changing because, serging knits, it's so good.
It is. I waited so long to figure out how to sew with a serger, and I had the same exact reaction. Why did I wait so long?
Yeah, most of my serger experience initially was just finishing edges, actually, and so the actual sewing with the serger
came later.
Yeah, but it's great.
It's so good.
I'm so happy for you, Ricky Sews.
Enjoy. We also heard from Melwick. Mine isn't actually project-based, but instead the fact that I started a local garment guild this year that has connected over 35 local sewists so far in our small town. Amazing.
Awesome.
I love it.
So amazing. Love that. Yes.
That is such a valuable, that's so cool to have that, especially in a small town.
Yeah. I definitely could do with some more sewing socializing this year. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Add it to the list.
Exactly.
It's definitely going on mine. Lastly, we heard from Nut That Held Its Ground. Love the name, by the way. And they said sewing a beautiful bra that fits, which is, for me, that's
Bravo.
that would be a challenging project. Bravo.
Yeah.
That's
a
great
challenge
project.
I haven't conquered yet.
Same.
It's amazing. All right, so for this episode, we would like to know, what sewing challenge are you going to tackle in 2020?
Yeah.
Is it going to be a hashtag? Is it going to be a resolution? What are you up to?
I have a feeling I'll be adding more things to my list.
Always.
If you do happen to have sewing a coat on your resolution list for 2020, you should join us for the Copper Mountain Coat Sew Along. That is going on through the end of January. It's a free pattern, free video, and I think it's a fun format. You sew the steps along with us. We share some wool sewing tips along the way, and it's pretty low key, not a high stress situation by any means.
Except for when I'm doing the bound buttonhole.
Okay,
and then
yeah.
It's very stressful
that part
for
was
me.
Stressful for you. I cheered you on.
Yes, indeed. But it is a great it's a great course. The coat is really cute. I think you'll really like it. So give it a try. It's free. What can it hurt?
Yeah. And just a reminder too that we are going to be answering your questions in our next episode. So hit us up with all of the burning questions that you have and the answers that you want to know about us as hosts. And you can put those on our Instagram feed, on our show notes page, or email us directly with that info. And that's going to be a fun episode. I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, please do send us questions though, because I'm like really worried it's going to be like a 10-minute episode. So
or we'll have to get our moms involved.
Oh yeah, moms.
I have some questions for you girls I can ask.
Make them juicy. Oh, well, that was so fun.
That was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, feeling good.
Right,
2020,
thanks,
y'all.
everybody.
Yeah.
Here we come. Here's to a great new year. Happy stitching, everyone.
Bye.
For links to everything we talked about in this episode, go to our show notes page at sewdaily.com/sewandtell. If you want to get in touch with us, you can email us at sewandtellpodcast@goldenpeakmedia.com or visit us on Instagram at sewandtellpod. Answer the Sew and Tell question, tell us your SewJo, or just leave us some feedback. If you enjoyed our show, please subscribe on your podcasting platform of choice. And please leave us a review, ideally a good one, because that helps listeners like you find our podcast. And tell your sewing friends about us too. Thanks for listening, and happy stitching. Sew and Tell is produced by Meg Healy, Amanda Carestio, and me, Kate Zaynard. Our consulting producer is Ron Doyle, and our executive producer is Jared Mayer.